Brandon Hardison, president of Champion Strategies Incorporated, where we create winners every day with your sales team members through effective training. I'm here to let you know that we have merged together with DSG. Why DSG? They have the advanced technologies for you and your management team to do what you do best. That's add to the bottom line by engaging with guests out in the community, spreading your brand. So I'm here to tell you that on this coming Wednesday, December 2nd, we will be presenting a webinar on new hire sales training. Now, 2015 is almost over, so here's my question to you, the decision makers. How did you do with your new hires this year? In other words, did we give them all the support that they needed for them to be successful? Well, let's take a look at many of you out there. You don't have the luxuries of an HR department. So the sourcing, placing of the ad, calling the initial person, setting up an interview, huddling around, making sure that that person is right to fit for your culture and your team. So we bring them on board. Do we have a process? Is there a structured orientation? Or is it like most places? The first day on the job, here's the person, and you say, follow him. We call it shadowing, as you know. Now, think about that person you asked to have this babysit for a few days. What does that look like? You think that person may put them through all of the basics, but they don't have no time for that. If anything, here's what it sounds like. Hey, I'll tell you what. You greet someone, you ask them a few questions, turn them over to me, and we'll split the deal. Not a good way for a new hire to learn. Or how about this great method? Sit them in a room with a TV monitor and some DVDs. That's beautiful. And we expect them to go through a series of that day in and day out for 3 to 5 days. And then we ask them, hey, you have any questions? Only question that's going through their head is, how quick can I get away from this place? And how do we know that? Have you ever had any new hires after a week, 3 weeks, a month, they start coming in late, taking longer lunches? Well, we know what they're doing. They're shopping for another job. So, in other words, from your interview to what they seen on the first day at work, at that culture at your dealership, they've already told themselves that this is not the place where I see my success. So they fire you, in a sense. How can we avoid that? Well, on the webinar, we're going to talk about those things. If you don't have a good HR department, we'll talk about how do we find, orient, and onboard a person properly. What does that welcome means? Because that sales representative is you. That's right. That's what the guest sees first. They're a representative of your brand. So we're going to talk about the finer ways of doing that properly. How do we ask high-gain questions? That's right. Those questions that really get to the customer's pain or that pleasure point so we can select the right vehicle the first time. Walk around? Pretty much walk-arounds are a thing of the past. Many sales consultants just select a vehicle, throw the keys to the customer, and say, let's go for a ride. They're missing one of the most biggest points because we want to take that pain and pleasure and show them how your product's going to alleviate that pain or give them that pleasure that they were looking for. Demo ride? Wow, we're behind the desk. We hope they're doing everything right, but we do know when they come back, we're ready to structure a deal. And after the demo ride, are we asking that trial close questions or series of questions to make sure that the vehicle that they did select and demoed is the one that's going to fit into what they're looking for? Does it satisfy all their needs or alleviate all the pains that they came in with? How about this one? Do we take the time to show the guests what we do after the sale? Do we walk the people through the rest of our campus so they can see our service, parts, collision centers? That's almost a thing of the past. Tell you what, ask your service manager or any advisor or parts counterperson, when was the last time a salesperson introduced a guest that came in looking for a vehicle into their area? Now let's talk about the good part, getting them back into their area of operations so we can start dealing with the desk, filling out the proper paperwork, getting the things that we need together to help structure this deal. How is that done at your dealership? Or do you find yourself as a desk manager doing most of that? And then when we do have what we want to present as the first pencil, I know you probably load their lips. But guess what happens between your office, your desk, and the area of operation with the guests? They're just going to wing it, because what you have realized is that they became an advocate for that guest, and they're ready to drop in a minute. We're going to show you those ways of how to alleviate that. Then the paperwork itself to get it structured so they're ready for F&I, and then the delivery. Wow. Some of your dealerships, you may have delivery specialists by now because you know your salespeople do a bad job, and we have to ask that question to the customer, reminding them that they're going to get a survey from the manufacturer. And all you can accept is perfects, 5s, 10s, whatever's the best thing that you need, because we want to make sure our CSI scores are above regional average. These and many other things, from CRM input to phone follow-up, all of these things go through a new hire's head, and we know in 3 weeks to 45 days that they've made a decision to leave your employ, meaning that we have to start the cycle all over again. So on Wednesday, December 2nd, we're going to talk about that on the webinar, give you those tips, ideals, and skills to help you go into 2016 with a better way of viewing how we really look at this person called a new hire sales consultant, and give them the tools so they can be successful, meaning that they see their future for their family, their dreams, and their goals right there at your dealership. So once again, I'm Brandon Hardison, president of Champion Strategies Incorporated, saying that Wednesday, December 2nd, we have a great webinar on new hire sales consultant training. So Champion Strategies and DSG are proud to give it to you. Sign up, and we'll see you then. As always in parting, make it a champion day.